Okay, so welcome to the third episode of Losers for Hire. Sorry for the belated upload. That's totally Luke's fault. 155%. That's all on him.
Come on, man.
What now?
It's your fault. We all know it's your fault, Ramy.
Me?
Yeah.
The audacity of this man.
You. How long has it been? 3 weeks?
2 weeks. We're not that bad.
Okay, so we missed last.
And our podcast has only been around for 4 weeks, so half the time our podcast has existed, we have been on hiatus.
I'm disappointed in you, Ramy. Do better next time, okay?
Look, come on. We all know how much of an atrocious friend you are, and how you never follow through on your calls. When you promise to call the next day, you never do.
Okay, hold on. That doesn't count because you don't call ever. I think I need a new door handle. I hate my lock. My lock, doesn't come unlocked.
Really?
It'll just unlock itself randomly sometimes. And
that's not good.
I can't unlock it.
Look, what happens if a shooter comes in your house, or a burglar, and you need to hide? What are you gonna do? You lock your door and everything, you hide in your closet. What? The burglar's just gonna be able to open your door, and then you'll hear, the sound of you eating Cheez-Its and the crumbs falling in your closet.
First of all, the Cheez-Its thing is very insulting because of how true it is. Second of all, I said I can't unlock it. The door locks perfectly fine from the outside.
Okay, fine. You'll be stuck in your room forever until your Cheeto supply diminishes.
It's like a bathroom door handle that turns from the inside but doesn't turn from the outside. I just can't unlock it from the inside. So if I close the door behind me and it's locked, I'm done.
Done. Game over. Say goodbye to your Luke.
So yeah, I've learned. I accidentally locked myself out once, but I didn't close the door all the way. The thing didn't latch, so I just pushed it open. I'm like, that was a close one. That's a mistake. Look, there are mistakes you only make once. Locking yourself out of your room is one of them. And then there are mistakes that you make quite often. And locking your keys in your car is one of those.
No, losing your keys is one of those.
We need to start talking about something interesting before... Oh, I can feel it. The viewer retention rate, it's falling drastically.
No, it fell from 4 minutes to, 3 minutes. The horror.
Okay, so, you're basically the moderator. What do we have queued up for today?
Why am I the moderator?
Dude, do you want me to be the moderator?
Dude, no, God, no.
That's why you're the moderator. Look at me, there's 2 of us.
Okay. Dude, I'm the moderator. I should have wore a tie.
What's our first exhilarating? No one can see you but me, Ramy. I'll just imagine you with the tie on.
I mean, I'm totally wearing a tie and a suit. I'm wearing dress pants and everything.
Dude, we're in an office building on the 10th floor of some skyscraper.
Welcome to Losers for Hire, based off of the LFH studios.
Mm-hmm.
We're coming at you live from the LFH studios. Aside from the fact that we're not live and don't have a studio.
Yeah, we have good mics and stuff and everything, and we're having a good time.
Hey, shut up! I love my Samsung Go mic.
And I love my headset mic. Y'all can hear the difference. No, it ain't a Razer headset. It's a budget $20 Amazon headset. It's made of plastic and duct tape and a little bit of magic.
A little bit of magic just for insurance.
Just in case. No, it's the magic is in case you drop it. The hardware is everything else. The magic.
So you can kind of. So it's kind of like the force barrier. So it's kind of like a force barrier.
The magic makes it a little more comfortable.
Oh, nice. See, I like to think the magic occasionally gives you times where your audio gets really good, just a random spike in quality.
No, it increases the cushiness of the ear pads.
Ooh, that's good.
By a factor of it.
And it just manages to always get the wire away from your arm when you really have to.
Dude, you want to know something? This is a really long, threaded wire. I always used to roll over it. One day, I roll over it, it unplugs itself. I lose it. I'm like, I've had enough. I tape it to the bottom of my desk, so now I don't roll over anymore.
You taped it?
I taped it with Scotch tape to the bottom of my desk, and you know what, Ramy? It's the best decision I've ever made.
Today, I thought we could start by talking about the vape ban.
What?
Do you want to start with the vape ban?
What a great, this is relevant, this is interesting, and both of us have no idea what we're talking about. This is what we stand for.
It's just what we needed. It's so perfect.
This is
ideal.
Savior. I see the light.
I mean, okay, this is going to be the thing. This is going to be the thing that brings our podcast back from the edge of collapse. With the 2-week hiatus, the nonsensical ramblings and harangues, we're ready.
Ramy, you're the one who wanted to talk about it. You want to start us off? What do you have to say about it?
So Luke, if for those who don't know what we're talking about, we're just Trump's vape ban where he got rid of candied vapes, where those are now just going to start.
Is it flavored or scented? I'm confused on the terminology here.
It's flavored. I think it's flavored.
Okay, so
it's candied and mint flavors.
Vape comes in like liquid, but it's gaseous when it comes, because it air slides. So is it flavored or scented? Can you taste a gas?
I think I just want to call it. I'm not sure honestly. Everywhere I hear though, it's being called flavored.
Let's.
You're right. I'm with you. It should be scented. It's a gas. It should be scented.
But people don't do this. But if you tasted the liquid, it would be flavored. From here on out, we decree, from henceforth, it is scented.
That vape flavors will no longer be referred to as a quote flavor, but instead as a scent.
Preach, brother. Preach.
Good to know we've got to the real heart of this issue.
The real heart of the issue has been, now that we've tackled that, we can move on to some of the extraneous.
The minor points.
Yeah,
the extraneous.
The minor points. What are some of these minor points?
Oh, switch terminology, by the way. I said minor, you said extraneous, and I said extraneous, you said minor.
We never agree on anything. Welcome.
No, we do not. So this is a conversation Luke and I have been having for a while now. Just the scope of government. I know it's a really general question, but like, how much control should the government have over about your personal life and your personal health? And I think this really hits the heart of that. Mm-hmm. Of course, this ban on candied and mint flavored, scented. Pardon me, scented.
I'm shaming them. I'm shaming them right now.
Luke, no visual jokes, man. No visual anecdotes. No one. This is a podcast.
Why do we have our face cams on?
I want to see your ugly mug, you beautiful bastard.
Anyway,
so how much influence should how much extent should the government be able to regulate something like this? Luke and I have had a great deal of conversations about legalization of marijuana, and I'm really interested to hear your take on this.
No, that's definitely a really, really good point. Obviously, there's two sides to the argument in this. I've heard that this is kind of gets to the core of the difference between the two major Republican parties. More
liberal Democrat.
Yeah, more government or less government control. If you want less, there's an obvious answer. Where should the control go to? State level? Should it just be completely unregulated?
Okay, I don't think that's entirely fair though, because for the Republican and Democrats, it's not just like limited government control. It's also, of course, Republicans are more in favor of state governments, of course, but it really depends on the issue, man.
For sure.
Legalization of marijuana, just to stay on topic, is something Democrats are advocating for. More individual freedom, Democrats. Restricting government, Democrats rather than Republicans.
Perfect, yeah.
Abortion, too. Because keep in mind that and I think that gets to the core of what the Republican Party was founded on. Keep in mind, I think it's kind of fair to say, this is a generalization, but kind of since the start of America, you get the more scientifically minded people and the more religiously minded people. The Republicans are kind of more the religious base, where it's more about ethics. I mean, keep in mind that this is the same. People keep talking about how in the late 1900s, the early 1900s, how there was kind of a switch in political parties. That's not entirely fair to say. I would argue that's not really accurate. I mean, the Republicans Party is still very much a party regulated more by ethics of Christianity, for a lot more than Democrats are. That's probably why you're still harping a lot on being really hard on drugs and taking a much more proactive response to the opioid crisis and the and abortion. Saving a life, as they put it.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for your response, man.
Definitely. That's a pretty large generalization, and I think you might be getting a little bit more slim when you specify Christianity.
Well, I don't agree with that. Christianity is I'm saying in the founding principles of this nation. I said founding principles during the founding times. Yeah, Christianity. you don't really have as many other religions at that time. You don't have like Jews running around in America.
When the country was founded, Christianity was vast.
Now sure, I can see there's probably I should have specified this. Thank you for bringing that up. But you have more of a merging between, people that are more zealously affiliated with a religion, and then people that are more we talked about this before when we were talking about religion. I don't want to get too far into that now, because we talked for a while about religion was so important in more prehistoric, not prehistoric, but before the modern ages as kind of an ethics guidelines. I made the case that I don't think that's as prevalent nowadays. I think usually society kind of fills in what is acceptable and what's not. I think that's what makes up for most of our conscious. And now, of course, that is influenced by centuries upon centuries of religious ideologies. But I think now you can kind of classify them as two separate things. I think that's what the heart of these issues are. Like abortion, again, people that are more, again, religiously affiliated are going to tend to lean against the pro-life movement, while people that, for the most part, again, generalization, not fair for me to say this entirely, but for the most part, people that aren't as much tend to lean towards pro-choice. I don't think it's entirely fair to say that Democrats always want more government controls, Republicans always want less government controls, and I know that's not what you mean. I just felt the need to put it out there because it's been irking me for a while.
Yeah, the phrase that Republicans want more state and liberals want more government control is not always true. That is a general thing. It's hard to classify an entire party's belief system in like one phrase.
Oh, of course.
That's just what I've heard. But back to the issue on vaping,
yes.
Like how much do we want the government to be regulating our life so much? Again, it depends on the issue.
Luke, but for vaping specifically, what is your stance? Because I've made the case to you before that marijuana should be legalized for people above the age of 21. And we've had this argument. And this kind of plays into that, where you're banning candy to mint flavors, because those are the most targeted. Those are the target demographic for those vapes are younger children. I should say younger children, but are in essence children and teenagers.
I mean, I haven't really thought about it much until you brought it up 10 minutes ago. So I guess I don't really have a stance. That's kind of in the area that's getting. I almost want to say petty.
Why is it petty?
I mean, instead of just going for vaping or making age restrictions, enforcing them, making them harder, you just go for flavors. Is that going to stop anybody? Is that going to prevent anybody from getting into it? I'm not sure what the.
I think it would have some preventions.
It might, but okay, let me put it this way: what teen do you know would go into a vape or a store that sells vapes with the mindset that I'm not going to vape, sees a candy flavored vape and goes, oh, here we go, never mind, just toss.
Oh, that changes everything, man. They have blueberry flavored.
The only thing I can think that would actually do, in the only scenario, is that they're given it by a friend and they don't care about flavor, and just the one flavor is so much better to them.
I think the argument, for the most part, is how it makes it taste like candy. Now, I can't speak from experience. I've never did it. What's it called again? A Juul?
Juul is a brand. Juul is a brand.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Juul is a brand. It's a popular.
You're the drug expert, apparently.
Yes, I am. But it's so kind of widespread that a Juul can be a general term for.
Okay. Duly noted. So I'm just gonna say Juul then.
Yeah.
So I think the thing is, Juuls like that are supposedly taste akin to candy. They taste like a treat.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's easier to roll people in when you have flavors like that.
But okay, so he banned candy and mint, as I understand.
Yes.
That doesn't take down the multitude of flavors there are. And again, what What person?
It's like primarily left like tobacco flavor, from what I've heard. I'm not too sure.
Again, like I'd say, kid, what person do you know would change their mind based on a flavor alone?
I don't think it's about changing your mind. I think it's about not getting as into it. Because again, let's change the scenario where you have a guy is like, here, try a whiff of my jewel pod, chucks it over to the guy catches it with his other. He's like, okay, man, let's try this. And then he tries like a strawberry. Like, ooh, I like strawberries. This tastes like Starburst. This is stupendous.
This is great.
Superlative. I'll take 20.
Exactly. That's the only scenario where a candy flavor would be better than others. But then there's the thing that, well, there's other ways to make vape taste good, make them more addictive.
What if you're already into like those candy flavors? I'm not sure about this, but I don't see you being as addicted to a tobacco flavored.
And we should be using scent here. We keep on using flavors.
Scent suit!
Just okay.
What happened to our credo?
And here's the thing. I don't think the scent of the vape is the problem. I think it's the concentration of addictive drugs. Why don't we regulate that?
That gets to the heart of now you're talking about the marijuana issue specifically, and
yes,
again,
this is
I'm of the sense that things like tobacco, like things like cigarettes, alcohol, minor drugs and narcotics like marijuana should be legalized, but they should be desensitized. But they should be desensitized, where you're not going to, if you put a tax on them or just anything to make it so they're less readily available or they have less of an incentive to buy the item. Incentive. You have an incentive, and then you put disincentivize.
Whatever the word is.
It's a tongue twister.
It is. Yeah, so you're saying that they should be legal, but people should be kind of...
They should be hard to access.
Yeah, it shouldn't be like, here, try my weed. It's totally fine. It's legal now. It should be kind of like cigarettes, where they're legal, but it's frowned upon. It's
highly frowned upon.
It's almost taboo, I think.
But here's the major difference, where like I could be mistaken here, but I don't think vaping leaves like a scent stain. I'm not sure. Does it?
What do you mean?
Like, like when you have like, if you go in a used car and there's someone like smoking a hell of a lot.
I can tell when someone's been vaping. It depends. It's less. Okay. I can definitely tell when someone's been smoking. That lingers. But I can tell if I walk by someone who's been vaping. And
of course, someone who just like took a puff right now. But I'm saying, like, does that scent kind of sustain in the same way?
I don't think so. Not as much, at least.
Or at least in a manner reminiscent of a cigarette.
Again, I wouldn't know, but
because you have to keep in mind that led to a lot of kind of the frowning, as you put it, the frowning upon of smoking is that connotation of that smell.
Yeah, with the yellow teeth, the walls, just the nastiness.
Precisely.
Yeah, I mean,
and like I preach this to you all the time. That's how I think our ideology around handling these issues should be. And that's why this topic specifically is a hard one, because in a sense you are dissuading people from buying those, narcotics. I'm just going to call it narcotics because it is narcotics, at least.
I mean, look, man, it's weed. It's weed. What do you want me to say?
And that's the thing, because, again, you are dissuading people from it. So in that sense, I should like it. But at the same time, I'm like, but is that okay, though? I mean, should you?
Is this really... Should we be getting involved in this? Another thing, okay, just take this with a grain of salt. I'm not convinced that vaping causes problem. I think we might be getting correlation mixed up with causation here. There might be a confounding variable. The sample size is small.
But definitely, but for old... I'm with you on there. That's for that's for adults.
Mm-hmm.
This is specifically targeted for children.
Are we sure that it causes problem in adolescence then?
We're fairly sure.
Okay, assuming that is true then, the question we're trying to answer is how do we want to handle it? Do we want to regulate it or not? And if we do, how so? I think we can agree that assuming, given that it's causing problems, that we want to do something about it. And I think the easiest way to do that is at a government level.
True, I'm with you.
Because if we hand it to the states, it's guaranteed. Some states, I don't want to name names, Colorado, they're not gonna do anything about
it. Rhode Island. But the question is, how far? I mean, does this go too far?
Does it go too far? I don't think so. Again, when I said it was petty, I don't think it's really doing anything other than inconveniencing some of the industry, some of the people that like the scent, some of the people that...
I don't think that's fair to say. Not inconveniencing. I think it's a bit more than that.
What do you think it is?
I mean, we just talked about it. I think you could potentially get... I'm not going to sit here and claim this is going to get 50% of the people! 50% of teenagers away from narcotics! Thank you, Donald Trump, for saving America! I'm not going to do that. But I think it will have somewhat of an effect.
I'm excited to see where this goes, but I kind of disagree. I think this is going to have a negligible effect, if any. In fact, if anything, either the publicity to the brand will make the numbers go up, contrary, or the negative publicity will make the numbers go down. And I don't think it's the ban. If anything...
Okay, I don't know if there's much of a thing called negative publicity, though.
A lot of people say that, but negative...
Of course it depends. It depends. I'm not going to say, like, Harvey Weinstein's a huge name right now. His business is going to be booming.
All I'm saying is that until this controversy came up, I heard basically nothing. The only thing that we ever got was a poster saying don't vape. But now that it's come up, I've had teachers...
have you gone on in Moto?
No, I haven't. But now that it's come up, I mean, teachers all over it's got a lot of negative attention, and I think it's being taken a lot more seriously, and prevention measures due to the controversy, not the ban, might be changing the numbers. I don't think the ban will do anything, but that's going to be hard to prove. If the numbers go down, we could both make an argument.
And again, you agree that there might be there are circumstances where that could dissuade people. It might not dissuade a whole lot, but it could do something. And
something in a large population adds up. But I honestly think the numbers will be very small.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I think that's what I think.
Because think about how many kids are currently getting into cigarettes versus vaping.
Okay, and you think banning flavors will change that?
I'm saying maybe the key thing here might be the sense, Luke.
Scent. We are so bad. If we'll get it. We'll get it.
We'll get it. Is vaping under 21 illegal?
I think it's 18. It's legal age. Because I know people in my school that just order the vapes off Amazon. I don't really need it for.
Yeah, it's illegal to sell them to people underneath the age of 18.
Yeah, so 18 is the legal age. You think...
To sell.
To sell to, but not to buy from. Should we make it illegal to buy if you are under the age of 21, maybe?
That would help.
I think that would do something. That would definitely.
But then, look, you could do the. But then, like, again, yes. Secondhand buying. I mean, that's how a lot of people are currently going through that you can't sell it for. You get someone to buy it for you. Same thing with alcohol.
Yeah, exactly. That's like weed, Parents get the...
And so in that sense, eliminating the candied scents might help. Because at least you'll be tackling a different issue.
If it's not one thing, it's another. People will just get a different scent.
But then unless they make other scents, which there is that possibility, I think all that will be left is like tobacco.
Oh, they'll make other scents. You bet your bottom dollar.
But like what? Let me search up the specific wording of the band.
You can make it smell like daffodils, lavender. No, I don't know, man. There's so many.
But again, there's ways to get around that. Maybe you say the only flavor you can have is tobacco.
Yeah, then maybe. But
it says is preparing to ban flavored e-cigarettes. So that's everything flavored.
Flavored. Oh, we're banning flavored.
flavored, or they actually should say scented.
Scented. I was unaware of this. I thought it was way more specific. Where'd you get that from? Those words.
It is that I got that from here. Let me Control Shift T. I got that from CNBC. Let me check other sources. Just
I think we should double check that because that is not what I have been told. And that's a game changer.
That is, yeah. We might have to leave 20 minutes worth of podcast material, Luke. Yeah. Flavored vaping products, again, should be scented. That was USA Today. Let me check more places. And if you're wondering, yes, this is how Luke and I verify what we read online. Check other sources, see if it works.
How else do you verify? You check other sources. If they all say the same thing.
Maybe go to the horse's mouth, go to the USDA report.
Yes, that is one thing that you should do, but the more...
We're on a podcast. Yeah, everywhere I'm reading says flavored.
All right, so then we are going to assume it says flavored, in which case, if we just have... Or scented. If we just have, like, just the drug... I think that will reduce numbers because I think a lot of people will go for it for the scent.
Now the question is that okay?
And can I just say, the lack of variety will make the displays of vapes a lot less eye-grabbing. So I think we agree that this ban, due to the wording of it, will prevent actually a lot, I think, of people getting into vaping.
Maybe not a lot, but definitely substantial.
So, do we want to talk about if this is the right move? Do we agree this is the right move?
Yeah, let's talk about that. Is that acceptable?
I'm trying to think. Again,
it's like the seatbelt thing. Remember how we used to always have to write that essay every year in like 7th and 8th grade about is it okay to, make not wearing a seatbelt illegal? This is the same thing, and we talked about that a lot.
Yeah, this is a very similar thing.
Still, it's very reminiscent. Now, what do you think, man? 'Cause I don't know.
Well, assuming it's negatively affecting adolescents, I mean, I think something that should be done. There's a part of me that says, well, let them make the mistake and figure it out on their own. But I mean, if it's something that'll change them forever that they can't undo, there should definitely be something done about it. 100%. I
think another scary thing is the fallback if we do this, like the president has said, because we've been starting to legalize marijuana in a lot of different states. This, to some people, this might be the justification they need to stop all marijuana legalization. Again, that's an extremity. But don't lie, Luke. You know people that will say that.
Guarantee. I mean, I think it's logical to follow that line of reasoning from vaping to marijuana, because there's not a huge difference between the two. And if we're going to ban...
But keep in mind, the qualm at hand with this
is that it negatively affects...
is vaping for minors.
Yes.
This is targeting minors, and I think I'm on the same boat as you. Yes, I feel uneasy about it because now I'm thinking, well, what about the adults that use the candied flavors? Shouldn't they have the right?
That's true, shouldn't they? Yes.
I think pros outweigh the cons, though.
I would say, but I'm so glad you brought up the precedent this sets. Can we use this as grounds to ban other drugs that maybe don't need to be banned?
Again, that's the scary thing for me. I mean, yeah, because again, I'm pro legalization for marijuana. I think it's a thing that, again, you should dissuade people from it, de-incentivize. Do not make illegal. That goes too far.
Mm-hmm.
We should have the right to be able to do these things if we want to. We will face the repercussions, but we at least have to have the right to do it. So, if we have this, because again, now people, because then you have your radical Republicans right now that are screaming, "We told you so! We told you all the kids are dying, man! The brain's turning black!"
They're chopping dead in droves, I tell you.
Dude, their brains growing. Dude, they just collapse on the school campus. I don't know why I give them a radical Californian voice, but again, and I don't want that to happen. That that's the scary thing for me, and that's just the thing that time will tell.
I don't think there's any way to avoid things like this. I mean, any decision you make will have repercussions, and people will always find a negative, and they'll always fight back and use your words against you.
We are both very guilty of the.
Never, not me. Never done it before.
No. Me. The mere notion of it.
Scoff, says I.
Anyway, anything else you want to say about that?
No, I think we got it pretty much cleared up.
That was a really fun conversation.
We'll just leave it there. I don't think we obviously don't know the right answer, and either.
No, do not come to us for your political opinions. That's a huge mistake.
Either one of our, I think we discussed kind of both viewpoints. Either one of them could be right. They could both be wrong. No one knows what the right answer.
I think we kind of found common ground, though, Luke. We did.
No one knows what the right answer is. Only time will tell. I'm excited to see where this goes, and not excited, but I'm intrigued.
I am very anxious. I'm getting a stomach ache thinking about it.
But that's great. What's next up on the list?
Well, Luke and I both watched Shazam 3 weeks ago.
So we're talking about it now as if we watched it this weekend or last weekend.
Exactly. Also, we're really late to upload this since that movie came out 8 months ago?
A while ago. But I'm glad.
And nobody cares anymore. But we.
I am glad I watched it. That was a thoroughly enjoyable experience.
Luke I didn't watch it until it came out on DVD, and then I decided to rent it on a whim, and I adored it. And then I'm like, Luke, this was the most surprising event of the year. This movie's actually half decent. You gotta watch it.
I was shocked when he said that. I wasn't going to touch that thing with a 10-foot pole, but And
for the record, I'm much harsher on superhero movies than Luke
way
is.
Harsher. I was going to stay away from it. But I trust recommendations from close friends, and I gave it a shot.
Only me, though.
Especially a movie with such high accolades as you gave it. I'm glad I did. I'm glad I watched it. It was really good.
So the way Luke and I always break down a movie is just to go for our best thing, worst thing, and then just tear into the beast. We just do best thing, worst thing to kind of field it out. Luke, do you want to start us off?
I will start us off. I thought a lot about it and then forgot it all, but now I think I got it back. So.
And he was so proud of himself. We had a call last week. We didn't record because I'm a bastard.
Yeah.
And then Luke was like, Rob, I'm so ready. I have my best thing, worst thing planned out for the first time, so I don't have to do anything on the spot. No.
Best thing. I loved some of the contrasts in the movie.
Contrast?
Look, man, it was very somber. They picked a very somber kid with a pretty troubled past, and they gave him just this bright red, flamboyant, red and yellow, a 255-00 red with bright, sparkly, fluorescent gold. That if that's not contrast, and then he's flamboyant. I love how the contrast with the personality with the body. There's a dude who blocks.
I love that. You're right.
Who blocks bullets. He's like, shoot me in the face. Come on, hit me. I want.
Shoot me in the face. Shoot me in the face. Come on.
Who does it? Can you imagine not knowing if you're bulletproof and there's only one way to find out.
Where to find out?
Shoot me in the face. And they just unload on him. I don't know how many bullets they got, but they just
love it to go pow pow.
And he's laughing. It's hilarious.
Yeah. No, the best parts are all just having a great time. He just looked at me oh, yeah, no, you're dead.
You're done. And I have never seen a superhero act petty and childish, and that's coming.
And it works. Look, okay. I always complain about, for the recent Marvel movies, how the comedy always undermines the script. Characters are joking around during really tense moments when there shouldn't be a joke because it undermines the integrity of the film. Ant-Man, Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
I think some of the biggest offender was Star Wars.
Oh, you're right. No, but it started off with Marvel, and it seeped into my Star Wars. You can't do that to me, Disney.
Which was bad enough, man. Star Wars just killed every moment. Oh, no. Now, look, I like that humor. I laughed. I enjoyed that, but it doesn't work for the movie. Star Wars is
And it's not
supposed to
Star
speak
Wars, man. They're making pop culture references and they're using profanity in Star Wars.
Star Wars is supposed to be just a child, just timeless, family friendly.
And it makes no sense. Luke, you're right. In terms of thematics, it's dumb and incredibly asinine.
Yes.
It does not fit with the general tone of the movie, but also, just think of it from a logic base in that world. Why would they have curse words?
Why?
Curse words are built upon like social conditions that's been fostered over decades, centuries. They don't have that. They're in a galaxy far, far away. They don't have the same the same conditions and social statuses that we have. That makes no sense.
It makes no sense. But Shazam.
Oh, back on top. Oh, by the way, fair warning, Luke and I really love to dog on the Disney Star Wars movies since we're huge Star Wars fans.
And we love to endlessly praise. Say it with me now.
Rogue One. The only good thing to come out of the Disney bio. The only
Such
thing.
a good movie. We'll have a section for that. Don't worry.
After you get like because Luke and I thought Force Awakens was like in so many ways just a non-story. It felt like the prologue, like the opening crawl.
I hated that movie. I hated Episode 7. Oh, it didn't feel like Star Wars because it had like a graphic switch, which is fine. It didn't feel like the same story. Rogue, I don't know what it is. I find it hard to articulate, but Rogue One was Star Wars. That was Star Wars.
It felt like a Star Wars movie. And it's also tone.
Yeah, maybe because the only thing tethering the new universe with the old one is like the Millennium Falcon. Right, in the new movie, like that's the only...
No. The only thing, no. Abrams is pulling out those old movies constantly. Come on, man. no, that's all he does. Anyway, this isn't Star. We should talk about Star Wars another time because Luke and I are really talk about this all the time. But back to Shazam.
Worst thing. I think the worst thing was also some of the contrast.
Oh. You pulled a Ramy. You had your best and your best thing and your worst thing being the same thing.
I did, and this is one. I don't get why an old man in a cave with 7 deadly sins matches with 255-00 red, gold sparkly fluorescent yellow kid in a Superman body. I don't.
Okay, look.
Where is
the old man wizard thing? He had the same outfit. He had the red flamboyant.
No, he didn't. He had like a brown robe or like a rust.
No, his robe was red, and he had the yellow lightning symbol. I think it was supposed to be. I think he was just old and kind of decrepit. I think that's what that's supposed to symbolize. Where he's not he's not in a sense fresh. He hasn't been recently conceived. He's old, he's withered, he's been dilapidated in some sense.
Maybe, but just the whole cave thing. Like, the Bat Cave works. That works. Superman, didn't he have his, like, ice hall? That worked.
The ice hall.
Admittedly, a little bit less, but it works. This just didn't. Also, what role did the 7 sins play? Look, historically, when 7 deadly sins appear in media, they play a heavy role in, like, symbolism. I didn't see it in this movie. They just seemed like a villain. They seemed like a villain to add in.
I don't agree with that. I think the 7 sins were actually one of the best parts of the film.
Why?
It's all about. Well, look, you can break because what does the 7 sins represent for the most part? Luke, it's always like the 7 things that bring down humanity, and we see these. The great thing again, one of my best. I am with you. It's one of the best things is the juxtaposition of the different characters.
Yeah, so
Billy is just as tormented with the 7 sins as the antagonist, whose name I totally remember.
Me too. He's Shazam, right? That's his name?
The antagonist, man. Like worst Michael Keaton. Can we just call him worst Michael Keaton?
Sure.
Okay, worst Michael Keaton.
Because I know who that is. I
Dude, come on! Person that played Vulture and Roy Crockett, the founder.
Oh yeah, I do know him.
Wouldn't he be perfect in that role, by the way?
The villain role?
Yeah.
He'd be pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, because like keep in mind, he kind of did that with the Vulture.
Mm-hmm.
He could just totally do it again. And Michael Keaton's like the greatest actor of all time. I'm getting off topic and just talking about how much I love Michael Keaton.
Anyway.
Anyway. And then again, he's just as prone to those sins as the villain is. But then you get the thing, but then the key difference between the two is getting back to the family message. What does Billy do? He shares his power with, his family, which that's actually my worst thing, the family. I'll get to there in a minute. But what this film is trying to say is, he shares his power with his family in order to make, stronger together, in a sense.
Sure.
The sins are the opposites. There again, and by the way, did you notice that each of the sins had a mirroring power for one of the Shazam kids? They completely mirrored. Like, you had your flight guy with Freddy, and then flight demon, strength guy with like the fat Hispanic kid.
Wow! Wow!
I don't know how to describe him anymore.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. That's.
Look how to describe him. He's Hispanic. He has short hair. He's a little husky.
Okay, that's going in the podcast. Prepare to get crucified.
No, damn it, Luke. And then, like, the sins are the opposite. They're taking advantage of this guy, putting their powers into one instead of spreading that power into multiple. Again, contrast, juxtaposition.
Yes, a lot of contrast in this movie.
Surprisingly smart, by the way. I'm not gonna say brilliant, but
I don't know.
Like, they were thinking.
I'm more convinced that the villain's fit. I feel like there might have been a better choice, right?
I think the problem is just that we don't do a lot with the demon.
I think that's it. The demons don't get enough.
No,
I want to say development. I think that's kind of what I mean.
They just don't do it. No, they just don't do a lot.
Exactly. That's why they feel kind of like half-assed villains. Not because they're not good in their role, but because we don't get enough of them.
I'm with you. I'm with you. It's a major problem.
And I think that kind of covered my best thing, worst thing for the movie.
My best thing is Billy. I think Billy was amazing.
He's the friend to the Shazam?
No. Billy's the protagonist. Freddy's the friend who is the greatest character in the movie. I love Freddy.
Freddy. Oh yeah, you guys take these?
Oh yeah, you guys take these. Proceeds to flip off.
Oh, you made you made in my car by almost killing me? Oh yeah, sure, you guys take these.
Oh yeah, sure. Do you guys take these as evidence? Billy's the best, man. I'm laughing every time.
Every time he's on screen. Oh.
Again, Billy was a really interesting character, though. Yeah. I think we did a really good job of fleshing the kid out. Again, I love everything we did with the family here, with the family theme and motif.
I was also expecting him to be like having like this reuniting moment with his mom, but that didn't happen. Kind of threw me for a curveball. I liked it.
Wasn't that brilliant the way we did that? Where we did like it was all a nostalgia thing, like looking to the past with rose-tinted glasses.
Yeah,
I love.
I like how he gave him her compass. We never met the guy in the house. We got all we needed to know.
Exactly. The less we know, the
better.
He's not the greatest guy. I think it's safe to say.
I think it's safe to say he might not be like really bad, but he's not good. Which is, he might be bad. We don't know.
He might be pretty bad. Man.
He might not be. We don't know.
Dude, he's going crazy over her talking to someone at the door.
Yeah, no. It depends.
Like that is hinting at like an abuse.
Might have gotten in a bad moment. We don't know.
Fair enough, but I like how the movie gives its audience credit enough to draw the line.
Yes, and I like how he gave her it was a compass, right?
Yes, and then she didn't even recognize it. She didn't, but I love that. I love the symbolism of that compass, always showing you the right path.
Yeah, so good. I love the compass.
I love how he gives it to her. It's like, I think you need
that might be my favorite moment in the movie.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And by the way, I love the scene right after that. After he embraces that and he runs off north to the right direction, and which is a great symbolism right there, following the path. And he just jumps out the building and screams Shazam. Like I want that as a poster. I want that with the lightning's about to strike him.
I've come up with a new phrase. Oh man, that's a poster moment right there.
Yeah, that's not very poster. That's not very poster of you,
Yeah,
Luke.
yeah. Look, man, there's this scene from the Seven Deadly Sins. This guy has like a giant golden spear that he like hovers, and he's in this.
No way, that's awesome. It's a giant golden spear, man. Like how big?
Oh, like probably 20 feet long. It's massive. And there's a scene of him like throwing it, and he's got like the twisted body, like I'm talking like baseball pitcher mid pitch, and you got this like golden like arc across the sky, like going into this demon as he's like got his red eyes. I'm like, that's a poster moment.
It's like, "Argh."
Yeah, man, he explodes. He's done.
Oh, that sounds
It was
amazing.
amazing.
But again, just like the lighting and everything, the way the light, like, ooh, it's so good. But again, Billy, we really made Billy a complex character.
Yes.
He is a kid, but he's a kid that, he has some moral compass. Get out.
Yeah, he has some, but he's not on the straight and narrow for sure. That we
No,
established that opening scene of the movie.
Again, I really like how we did the whole thing with the wizard, where he's like, the wizard kind of says there's no such thing as a perfect warrior. You need to it's just about getting as close to being as perfect as you can, and life is a constant struggle to being as close to perfect as you can, always going north if you would.
Mm-hmm.
Getting back to the compass
Yep.
thing.
Yes. No. I got it.
Parallel! I like that. Question though, why did the wizard choose Freddy? Freddy would have been a much better superhero right off the bat.
Right off the bat. No, for sure.
Freddy would not have gone to the bush that's about to crash. And then he's like, don't worry, I'll save you. And then proceed to put a small mattress underneath it. That's my favorite scene. Because he's like, his face falls on the windshield, it cracks. He's like bleeding. Yeah, he's like, help me. And he's like, don't worry, I gotcha. Kapow! Mattress, you're saved. You're welcome. Back to lightning from my hand.
I also like how he uses powers in the final scene, where he uses his transformation to kill the demon, because that's a lightning strike, right?
Oh, that's brilliant, isn't it?
It's really interesting how he uses that, and it's clever. It's clever.
It shows how Billy's a clever kid.
Yeah.
He's a kid who's thinking. He has ingenuity.
Yeah, and he also has charm. He winked at that demon. He's gotcha, wink, Shazam.
He's a fun character.
Fun, good character. Very good characters.
Again, Billy's my best. By the way, great job on the actors. The child actor, but all the child actors are
They
great.
were really good.
And I've been watching Star Trek, and because you know me, look at Star Trek. And
know.
there are no good child actors in Star Trek. They are all terrible. It was just such a nice breath of fresh air. I love it. But seriously, the adult Billy and the kid Billy feel like the same character throughout the film, and that's so impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. And I know, getting back to what you said, the way he defeats the demon is by the lightning strike. I like that a lot because he defeats him in Billy mode.
Yeah. Yes. Another good point. He doesn't need the Shazam to beat. He doesn't need the superpower to beat the demon. He doesn't.
His brain beat the demon.
Yes.
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 Physical broad might.
Oh. It was a great movie. I don't know why it didn't get more praise.
Probably because it was fairly popular. I'm surprised that Aquaman did better than it, though.
I haven't seen Aquaman. Have you?
Neither have I. But I don't really wanna.
Again, this is the best movie to come out of the DCU, in my opinion.
I think by far
I think
is. It has problems. It really, again, my worst thing. Okay, by the way, before I do my worst thing, wasn't it such a breath of fresh air for the first time ever have a foster family that isn't just the most despicable people in the entire world?
Yes, movies love to do that. This foster family was awesome.
They were amazing. They're the best the best guardians of
It's
the world.
like a dream.
They're people. They're flawed.
Yes.
They're flawed. Don't get me wrong.
Every character should be flawed.
Exactly, because unless you're working with a caricature. If so, that's fine.
There are ways to do it, but generally speaking.
Adam West Batman should not be a flawed character because that's a parody. He's supposed to be farcical. He's supposed to be the perfect guy. But yeah, I really like that, and they cared about these kids, and I like that a lot. That they cared about them in that show.
This movie, I think this movie's like brilliant.
Again, a lot of problems. Again, why did the wizard not choose Freddy?
I don't.
Like, why of all people?
Again, but this is where a good movie lets you overlook them.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. This is a nitpick.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go like this is this movie's terrible. I'm gonna destroy every copy.
I'm salty.
I'm so. Again, I've never read a Shazam comic, by the way. I've only seen him in other things, so I don't know a lot about the character.
There's a cartoon that I saw a little bit of when I was a kid.
Yeah, no, same here. I've only seen him in other shows. I've never seen him on his own. It was always with other characters. Even in comics, I've seen him in Final Crisis. I just see him in the context with other people in it, so I don't know that much about this character.
Yes, and I'd like to say that I think my actual favorite scene in the whole movie was where Superman walks in that cafeteria. You don't see his face. You just see the Superman part of him.
Just say, this is just me being a big nerd. I wish we had the outside underwear. But one of my favorite comedy scenes in this movie was when they're walking in the park, and we saw a burglar, try to mug a woman, and he's like, "Oh shoot, a bad guy!" Go stop him. He just zooms over at the speed of light, sends the guy flying. He's like, "Oh, don't worry, man. I'm here to save you." He's like, "Yeah, no. I pepper sprayed him. I got this in the bag."
That's my favorite part because he's like, "Oh no, a bad guy." He's like, "Well, what do you do?" He goes to someone. He's like, "What? Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, I'm a superhero. That's what I do."
It doesn't click, You don't just transform into Shazam and you're the heroic guy all the time.
No, and I love the first thing they do after saving a store is get free food from them.
Free food, and he likes money, and I also like how he tries to fix people's phones, but accidentally breaks one of them. Your phone.
I am a superhero, and your phone's charged, and your phone's charged, your phone's charged.
His phone.
And he's always and we kind of do the Peter Parker thing where he's always asking himself, if I help you, how does that help me? Why am I doing this if it's not helping me? And I like that a lot because it makes him feel like a kid.
Like a character, yes. Flawed.
He's a young kid. He doesn't know what he's doing. Again, that scene in the final fight where he's kind of floating a pose to the other evil bald guy. Again, whose name the not Michael Keaton character, if you would.
He's not really important.
He's like, what? I can't hear you. Again, that's something we do in a Marvel movie, and I would roll my eyes out, and I would spend 50 minutes complaining to you about.
Yeah, that's one thing where I'm like, okay, we're kind of interrupting the tension here.
But again, I can't complain that much because he's a 14-year-old kid. That's what I think a 14-year-old kid would do.
It kind of works, but I still kind of had a little bit of an eye roll at that part. That broke my suspension.
It also doesn't help that was not funny at all.
Yeah, it wasn't. That broke my suspension and made my eyes roll for it. I don't know. It was a good. I liked it. I was surprised. It was a surprisingly good movie. Had its ups, downs.
No, not what I expected. It was again a very pleasant surprise.